Hello everybody, I hope you're well. Today is day 15 of shelter, and last night we all got notification that there's an additional 2 weeks of lockdown. And of course I'm wondering how you're feeling about that and what your thoughts might be and how that might be shifting the way that you're showing up this morning. Just as a means of bringing a lot of what we've been talking about into action, it might be a great place for you just to have a quick body, mind and heart scan and just check in with yourself and see what's going on for you. So for those of you that are celebrating Good Friday today and the beautiful Easter weekend that is upon us, I hope that it is an incredibly beautiful time of spiritual awakening for you, and that you connect in all the places that are meaningful for you, and that you have good time with family this weekend. So I thought to continue. We've been talking about recognizing patterns and we've understood the brain. We've been looking at your triggers, and I thought a really good aspect to bring in for you today is the reaction cycle and our ability to take a 6-second pause to be able to shift the way that we have been showing up if we have been going into reactive places. So I'm going to shift this and see if I can give you a bit of a visual, because I think it would be very helpful. And yes, that looks quite clear enough. So in front of you, you've got what we call a reaction cycle. And it's actually a beautiful way of understanding what's going on for you. And once again, it's not a linear process, so it could happen for you at any one of these places. So you'll notice we've got 3 places. We've got a setup, we've got an interpretation, and we've got escalation. Now, when we've got stimuli that's coming into the brain, there's a state of change within us. Something's going on that is creating an emotional shift within us. So remember, we spoke yesterday about triggers and what are those things that trigger you. It is often the times in area of trigger that we go into our reactive behaviors for whatever reason. So that's your setup, okay? And it's really important to understand what's going on there for you. So that's your first point of trigger. Then we go into your headspace, which is where the interpretation is happening. And here you want to become really aware of your thoughts, your assumptions, your perceptions of the situation, and that you haven't made up a story in your head that you've believed that you have not yet tested. And then we've got, if you have not picked it up in this stage and you go into the last stage, which is your reactive space, where you actually do escalate into behavior that's not necessarily helpful for you, and obviously receive whatever benefit you would from having reacted that way. So ideally, we're wanting you now with new awareness at the setup stage to become really aware what's happening with yourself emotionally, being able to name that emotion, understand what data you're getting from that, understanding the messages that are being sent, so that you can actually follow through with an appropriate response. So if you weren't able to manage the trigger at this point where you thought, oh, hold on, I'm not feeling very comfortable, I know exactly where this trigger takes me, I'm feeling quite uncertain, very emotional, this is my opportunity to take a 6-second pause and to step out of this conversation. If it doesn't happen there, you go into the headspace, and here you've got a second opportunity to pause and to think about what's going on for you in your cognitive arena. And then, of course, your third opportunity for a 6-second pause is here before you react, to think and apply a bit of consequential thinking in terms of, what is my short and long-term benefit of this behavior? And to be able to work with that. Now, if you look at choice points, you would have noticed that we've got 3. You can either prevent it here at your point of setup, or you can prevent it from your early intervention here in terms of being engaged with what your thoughts are, whether they're actually serving you or whether they are driving you into reactive places. And then, of course, even if you have escalated it and gone into reactive behavior, you could always de-escalate it by circling back and having an important conversation around what just happened for you. Even that in itself is a beautiful choice point. It's never too late to actually rectify the situation. And then, so if we look at that 6-second pause that you have, literally between stimuli and response, there is a space. And it's in that space where you take a deep breath and you actually, work with what's happening, you emotionally, and you allow that emotional chemical release in your body to actually dissipate. You'll be able to breathe yourself through this. And it's in that space that lies your freedom and your power to choose your response. And of course, in our response lies our growth and our freedom. So I hope that you will be working with your triggers, with understanding what's happening in your brain, and now being able to take that 6-second pause. And very often a 6-second pause is to just shift your thinking, get you out of your emotional space, get you out of your thinking space or your area of reactiveness by simply breathing, because you're giving your headspace something else to be thinking about. You're grabbing that moment and being mindful. And you could do something like even trying to say your cell phone backwards, because that will kick you out of reactiveness as well. So that's your 6-second pause opportunity, and I hope that will be helpful for you in the days to come as you learn to understand your patterns and recognize them, and then work with a healthier, more intentional response. Stay well. I'll see you tomorrow.